Hey guys, Fidget here. Just wanted to go over a trade I took using my levels on NASDAQ that I posted last night. If anyone went over those levels, um, this will kind of give you an idea of how I traded based on those levels compared to what I said I would potentially do um, when the price action came. And then if you haven't watched that video, I recommend going back and watching it so you kind of have an idea of how I look at my levels and then what I plan to do based on the market structure and those levels, depending on what price action comes. So, but anyways, now that we're past that, it was a trade on the Qs. On the downside here, looking to see if the momentum to the downside wanted to continue since we broke a new low on the NASDAQ here. So I'll pull up that 4 hour. I'll let you guys take a look at that. So we could see, um, throughout this week, we made this potential double bottom around that 11,285 level we mentioned a few times. One of the main ones we were watching here. This level, you know, got held up pretty strong. We broke back above 11,700, but instantly on the 4 hour, we can see overnight it had that bearish engulfing, which brought us right back to 11,1285. So coming into the morning or coming into today and seeing pre-market, it was a dead giveaway um, that the trend was still down. Of course, structure says that no matter what, but making a new low on the day should definitely let you know that too. But it does not mean that buyers won't step in down there. A new low means people might be interested at that low price. So with that in mind, I was still waiting for a signal. I didn't just fill off the open because I saw this price action pre-market. I waited for a setup to come, uh, under 11,285. I won't trade unless we close under there. So with that in mind, I started to look closer into our pre-market levels to see what happened, in the morning and where resistance would be found. I saw this hourly candle, I believe, yeah, here. Sorry, not hourly. On the 30-minute, when I zoomed down, I saw this pin bar inverse hammer here, and then this same rejection level from this, I guess you could call that continuation move here, and thought, I'll mark a resistance here. We can see once the market came down and opened, this level didn't come into play, but we can see that 11,285 did come into play, and that's where we capitalized off of things. So back to the hourly. This orange line, 11,493, was the low we had from this old range. We broke it the other day, bounced, bounced, and then pushed back above it. Coming into the pre-market, we broke under it, and then broke back and made a new low right into open. So in pre-markets, came back down under that low level again, saying sellers are kind of trying to step in. And then we tested our lows, 11,285, where we're looking to trade at. And then I zoom into the hourly here and then watch the market open. So when the market opens, I will always wait out the first 30 minutes. Market opens, depending, it doesn't matter where you're at. It opens at 30. So say the market opens at 6:30, I wait till 7 to trade. The market opens at, different time zones, same thing, 9:30. I wait till 10 to trade. So I always wait for that candle close. The reason being is because it gives me something like this. This is a clear signal for me to trade off of, right? Range broke to the downside compared to the range we held all week, and we closed under that key level. With a bearish engulfing on the hourly, that tested the level we had mentioned from that pre-market. So it touched a resistance and closed under a support that could potentially turn back into resistance. This level here. Now keep in mind we had this 11,238 actual low from the other day. I had that level marked just in case we had some type of reaction there. But anyways, I saw that close on the hourly on NASDAQ under 11,285, and at that point in time, I'm looking to take a short to the downside. It's a clear signal to me, and it's tight, real close to my level I want to trade off of. So, the potential profits here compared to the risk was pretty good for me. So I went ahead and took a trade. I filled, let's pull over this chart. So hourly closed there under our key level. And I went ahead at exactly 7 with 1 second. I entered the 269 puts on the Qs at $159 per contract. Shortly after my entry, well, sorry, I won't go too fast. So looking at the 5 minute, on top of that hourly that I closed, we got a 5 minute bearish engulfing at about 6:55. I did not fill there. Reason being is, yes, it gave a signal, but the hourly had not closed under here, so I was not going to take this trade yet, even though it had closed under our pre-market low, 274.18. So it closed and gave me a signal, but I did not fill. Why? Because I always wait out the first 30 minutes, and you can see it still gave a signal that I generally like to trade, but discipline matters more than being impulsive and trying to get in right there. Obviously, we see, that gave a good entry, but I waited an extra 5 minutes, got more confirmation, and got the same exact entry on that little indecision doji candle at 7 exactly when the candle closed, was 1 second after the candle opened. So 269 puts at 159, and then shortly after that entry, we flushed down and broke that previous low from the other day. And then at that point in time, I put a stop on most of my position at 10%. We can see that, we broke under that small level where I wanted to have my first trim at, or potentially see how we reacted. We got bought up, and that stopped me out at 706.06 at 176 from 159 for a 10% gain. And then at that point in time, I went ahead and put a stop on the rest of my contracts at my entry, which was 159. Shortly after that, we can see the market moved up, tested its 9 EMA, or its trend, an old low level. So it tested that level again. When it tested that, the market started to come back down and make a new low, which I was aiming for 269, but of course we can see we didn't make it there in my trade. But sorry, I had to do something real quick. But yeah, so we can see after that first trim, I moved my stop to my entry, which would have been that 159. The market pushed back down and made a new low. I was targeting 269. That's the reason I picked that strike, if anyone was wondering. But yeah, we never got down to that level. But when we came down towards 270, I believe I noticed that Microsoft and Apple, I think those two names were not falling compared to AMD and the Qs. So half of tech was trying to hold, half of tech was trying to fall. So at that point in time, I didn't see the selling pressure I wanted to see across the board. So I went ahead and moved my stops from my entry to, I believe it was 40 or 50%. That way I had the percent and that profit on the trade. If I'm feeling a little bit uneasy, not seeing exactly what I want for a runner, I will go ahead and move my stop, of course, to secure profits. So I went ahead and lined it up with about 50%. We can see we moved down, and then we found that bottom around 271, and then got bought back up at 756.20. I got stopped out on the rest of my position here, so this is a full exit on my runners at 236 from 159 for a 48% gain, give or take. So it was set for 50, of course, with some slippage and fees and slippage. It's at 48%, but nonetheless, we secured our profits, didn't let it come back up here and then exit here, or hold all day and get burned, and then hope and pray. We exited here, and you can see throughout the day after my exit, the market moved lower. Does it affect me? No, not really. Yeah, of course, I would have liked to take profits, more profits at 269, but we never got to my actual target anyways, so I don't believe I would have managed it correctly and exited at this 269.28 anyways. So that's basically it for that trade. Another thing to note would be after my runners got stopped, we can see a clear entry or re-entry on this trade, which would be here, or if I change the time frames, we'll see another one on that 15 minute right here. off of that 273.34, which lines up with our 11,238 previous low on NASDAQ. I didn't trade off of that level. Why? Because I already made some money and I did not care to get back into this trade when I thought the market would range no matter what. Of course, we can see it broke a little lower, but maintained this small range, so I wasn't interested. I hope you guys were able to learn something from that recap of that trade right there. I try to show you guys my levels and tell you exactly what I plan to do based on them the night before. Now the price action comes today. I trade based on it and based on my levels that I told you guys. And then now I show you my recap and show you exactly what I did compared to those levels. So I hope the full transparency allows you guys to see exactly how I'm doing it. I'm trying to make sure you guys know every single little detail. That way you're not wondering anything. And if you are, please ask questions. Please give me feedback. You can critique me. I don't mind. I'm trying to make this so people can learn from this. I was at a point where I wish someone did this for me at one point, and now I'm trying to do it for others. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Just please let me know how it's going, and I hope everyone has a good night.